3 years ago, Richard Hartley made a promise to his newborn son, "I will never let anything hurt you." Today, that promise is about to cost him everything. If stories about real families and the mistakes that change everything hit you hard, hit that like button and subscribe. You'll want to see how this ends. This isn't a story about bad people. It's about good people who made one terrible choice, then another, until the weight of their lies crushed the one thing they loved most. Richard and Amelia Hartley didn't plan to destroy their family. Nobody ever does. But in a world where appearances matter more than truth, where status hides emptiness, and where everyone's too busy chasing what they don't have to protect what they do, destruction doesn't need a plan. It just needs opportunity. And on a sunny morning in late September, opportunity came knocking. This is the story of a perfect family that wasn't perfect at all. A mansion that became a tomb. And a little boy named Leo who paid the price for his parents' secrets. It starts 3 years earlier, in a hospital room that smelled like hope. Amelia holds her newborn son for the first time. He's tiny, fragile, perfect. Richard stands beside her hospital bed, tears streaming down his face. He's not usually a man who cries, but today he can't help it. He touches Leo's tiny hand, and the baby grips his finger with surprising strength. "Look at him," Richard whispers. "He's so small." Amelia smiles through her exhaustion. "He's ours." Richard leans down, kisses Leo's forehead, and makes a promise he believes with every fiber of his being, "I will never let anything hurt you. Not ever." Amelia watches her husband, sees the love in his eyes, and thinks, maybe, just maybe, they'll be okay. Maybe this baby will fix what's been broken between them. Maybe love really can conquer all. But 3 years later, that promise is just another lie in a house built on them. The Hartley mansion sits on 2 acres of manicured perfection. Marble floors, floor-to-ceiling windows, a pool that looks like it belongs in a resort. From the outside, it's everything anyone could want. Inside, it's a museum of unhappiness. It's Tuesday morning, and Richard is making dinosaur-shaped pancakes. This is his ritual with Leo, the one thing he hasn't let slip away. He flips a brontosaurus onto a plate and does the voice, "Rawr! I'm a hungry dinosaur." 3-year-old Leo giggles, his whole face lighting up. "Do the T-Rex, Daddy." Richard obliges, stomping around the kitchen, making his son laugh so hard he nearly falls off his chair. For a moment, everything feels normal. Good, even. Then Richard's phone buzzes on the counter. He glances at it. A text from Tessa, "Miss you already. Can't wait for next week." His smile fades. Leo doesn't notice. He's too busy drowning his pancakes in syrup. But Amelia notices. She's standing in the doorway, watching her husband's face change, watching him become someone else. She knows that look. The guilt. The distance. The way he's already gone even though he's standing right there. She used to wonder who the other woman was. Now she doesn't care. Leo spills his juice. Purple liquid spreads across the white tablecloth like a stain on everything Richard's trying to hold together. "Oops," Leo says, his voice small, worried. Richard surprises himself by laughing. "Dinosaurs are messy eaters, buddy. It's okay." He cleans it up while Leo watches, relieved. Amelia turns away. She can't watch him be a good father and a terrible husband at the same time. It makes her hate him more. Or maybe it makes her hate herself. She's not sure anymore. Later, she takes Leo to the garden. They read his favorite book under the old oak tree, and Amelia does all the character voices. Leo loves this. "You're the best storyteller, Mama," he says, hugging her tight. She holds him maybe a little too long, breathing in the smell of his hair, memorizing the weight of his small body against hers. "I love you more than anything in the world," she whispers. And she means it. But love isn't always enough. Sometimes it's not even close. That evening, they sit down for dinner. The 3 of them. A family. Richard tries. He actually tries. "Remember when we used to talk about opening that bed and breakfast in the countryside?" he asks. Amelia cuts her chicken without looking up. "That was a long time ago, Richard. It doesn't have to be. We could still do it. Get out of the city. Slow down. You're never here, Richard. Even when you are." The words hang in the air like smoke. Leo plays with his mashed potatoes, building mountains, oblivious to the war being waged across the dinner table. Richard wants to argue, wants to defend himself. But he can't. Because she's right. He's been gone for years, even when he's home. She has too. They're two ghosts haunting the same house, and Leo is the only one still alive in it. 6 months ago, Richard met Tessa at a conference in Chicago. She was a junior colleague, smart, ambitious, and she actually listened when he talked. They had coffee, then dinner, then more. He told himself it was just conversation, just connection, just someone who saw him as more than a wallet or a name on a business card. He was lying to himself even then. 4 months ago, Amelia met Ethan at a charity gala. He was an artist volunteering for the foundation, and when he complimented her work, it wasn't empty flattery. He meant it. They talked about art, about purpose, about the person she used to be before she became Mrs. Richard Hartley. He made her feel visible again. She told herself it was innocent. Just friendship. Just someone who reminded her she was more than a trophy wife. She was lying to herself too. Now, in the present, Richard texts Tessa under the dinner table. Amelia messages Ethan from the bathroom. They're both planning their escapes. Both convinced they deserve this. Both telling themselves the same lie. It won't hurt anyone. But lies have a way of finding the truth. And the truth always costs more than you think. 3 days before the trip, Leo asks Richard a question that will haunt him forever. "Daddy, can you come to my school play?" Richard looks at his son's hopeful face and feels something crack inside his chest. "I'll try, buddy. Daddy has an important trip next week." Leo's face falls. Just a little. Just enough. "Okay," he says quietly. Amelia watches this exchange from across the room. She wants to scream. Wants to grab Richard by his expensive collar and ask him when their son stopped being the most important thing. But she doesn't. Because she's planning her own escape. 2 days before the trip, Amelia sits Clara down in the kitchen. Clara is 24, tired, and barely holding her own life together. "We'll both be gone next week," Amelia says. "I'm trusting you with Leo." Clara nods, but her hands shake slightly as she pours coffee. She needs this job. She can't afford to lose it. "I won't let you down, Mrs. Hartley." Amelia wants to believe her. Needs to believe her. So she does. The morning of the trip arrives like any other morning, except it isn't. Richard kneels down to Leo's level in the foyer. Their son is wearing his favorite dinosaur shirt. "You be good for Clara, okay? I'll bring you back something special. Promise?" Leo asks. Richard kisses his forehead, breathing in the scent of his shampoo. "Promise." He means it. He always means it. Amelia comes downstairs with her suitcase, dressed for her fake charity event. She holds Leo close. "Mama has to go away for a few days too, baby. But I'll call you every night." Leo looks up at her with those big, trusting eyes. Why does everyone keep leaving? The question hits her like a punch to the stomach. She doesn't have an answer. So she just kisses him again and walks out the door. Clara arrives 10 minutes later. Leo runs to her, excited because Clara lets him have extra cookies. Richard drives away in his Mercedes. Amelia drives away in her Range Rover. Neither looks back. Neither sees Leo waving from the window. Neither knows that in exactly 5 days, their son will drown in their pool while they're in bed with people who aren't each other. And Clara, sweet, distracted, overwhelmed Clara, will be the one holding his lifeless body when the ambulance arrives. But that's still 5 days away. Right now, Richard and Amelia are driving toward their separate lives, convinced they're finally going to be happy. So here's the question I want you to think about. If you knew one decision would destroy everything you love, would you still make it? Or do we all believe, deep down, that consequences only happen to other people? Richard's plane never took off. Because Richard was never at the airport. While Amelia thought her husband was flying to London, he was checking into a luxury suite 200 miles away with a woman young enough to be mistaken for his daughter. And while Richard thought his wife was organizing a charity event across town, Amelia was tangled in hotel sheets with a man who made her feel 25 again. They were both living their perfect lies. Both convinced they'd gotten away with it. Both about to learn that the universe doesn't forgive, it just waits. And back home, in that empty mansion with a covered pool, a 3-year-old boy was asking Clara a question that should have changed everything. When is Mommy coming home? Clara barely looked up from her phone. Soon, sweetie. Soon. But soon wasn't soon enough. Day 1 of their separate escapes begins exactly how they imagined. Richard and Tessa wake up to room service, champagne, strawberries that taste like stolen freedom. She traces patterns on his chest and tells him he looks younger when he smiles. He believes her because he wants to. Needs to. I forgot what this felt like, he says, staring at the ceiling. What? Tessa asks. Being wanted. Not needed. Not tolerated. Wanted. She kisses him, and for a moment, he forgets he has a son. Across the city, Amelia and Ethan walk through an art gallery, their fingers almost touching but not quite. He explains a painting to her, something about chaos and beauty, and she actually listens. Really listens. With Richard, conversations died years ago. With Ethan, they bloom. You look different here, Ethan says. Different how? Alive. She smiles, but there's something behind it. Something that tastes like guilt. That night, she checks her phone obsessively. Clara sent a photo, Leo eating spaghetti, sauce all over his face. The caption reads, "Little guy had a great day." Amelia stares at the photo for a long time. Then she puts the phone down and pours herself more wine. Tomorrow she'll call him. Tomorrow she'll be a better mother. Tomorrow. But we both know tomorrow is a liar's favorite word. Clara is trying. She really is. Day 1, she plays blocks with Leo for an hour. Makes him chicken nuggets shaped like dinosaurs because that's what Amelia said he likes. Reads him 3 bedtime stories even though her eyes are heavy with exhaustion. Leo hugs her good night. You're nice, Clara. She smiles, touched. You're pretty great yourself, little man. But after he's asleep, she collapses on the couch. Her phone buzzes. Kevin, come on babe, I miss you. 1 drink won't hurt. She ignores it. But day 2 is harder. Leo wakes up cranky, asking for his mom. Clara tries to distract him with cartoons, but he's not having it. I want mama, he cries. She'll be back soon, Leo. I promise. You promise. She shouldn't promise. She knows she shouldn't. But she does anyway. I promise. Kevin texts again, please? I'll bring wine. We can hang out after he goes to bed. You deserve a break. Clara stares at the message. She's exhausted. Underpaid. Overwhelmed. And maybe, just maybe, she deserves 1 night to feel like herself instead of someone's employee. She types back, maybe. Let me think about it. Day 3, she stops thinking about it. She acts. While Richard and Tessa lounge by their hotel pool, drinking cocktails that cost more than Clara makes in a week, Leo is eating cereal for dinner because Clara forgot to cook. While Amelia and Ethan make love in a hotel room overlooking the city, Leo is crying because he had a nightmare and Clara didn't hear him through her closed bedroom door. The contrast is brutal. Intentional. Because this is what betrayal looks like when you zoom out. It's not just about the affair. It's about every choice that leads to the moment when someone small and innocent pays for someone else's selfishness. Richard calls home on day 4. Clara answers, out of breath. Everything okay? He asks. Yeah, totally fine. Leo's great. We're having so much fun. In the background, Leo is screaming because he doesn't want to take a bath. Sounds like it, Richard says, relieved to hear chaos because chaos means normal. I'll be back soon, okay? Tell him Daddy loves him. Will do, Mr. Hartley. She hangs up and yells at Leo to get in the tub. Not because she's mean. Because she's tired. Because she's 24 and drowning in responsibility she didn't ask for. Because the adults who should be here aren't. Day 5. The last day of the trips. The day everything ends. Kevin comes over after Leo goes to bed. Clara told herself she'd just have 1 drink. 1 glass of wine by the pool while they talked. But 1 becomes 2. 2 becomes 3. And 3 becomes stumbling, giggling, forgetting. Leo wakes up at 9:30. He hears voices. Adult voices. Laughter. He gets out of bed, clutching his stuffed dinosaur, and pads downstairs in his dinosaur pajamas. Clara and Kevin are by the pool. There's an empty wine bottle on the table. Music playing softly. They don't hear him. Leo sees his toy airplane near the edge of the pool. The one Daddy got him. The one that's supposed to fly. He walks toward it, small feet on cold tile. Reaches for it. But here's the thing about 3-year-olds. They don't understand edges. Don't understand danger. Don't understand that one wrong step changes everything. So when Leo leans forward, focused on his plane, he doesn't know he's about to fall. And Clara, drunk and distracted by Kevin's hands on her waist, doesn't see him. Not yet. 200 miles away, Richard and Tessa are checking out of their hotel. He's relaxed, happy, already planning their next escape. They walk through the lobby, his hand on her lower back, both of them glowing with the satisfaction of people who think they've gotten away with something. Then Richard sees her. Amelia. Walking toward the elevator. Ethan's hand on her lower back. Same gesture. Same intimacy. Same betrayal. Time stops. Their eyes meet across the marble lobby. Recognition. Shock. Horror. Rage. Shame. Every emotion humans can feel compressed into a single second. Tessa notices Richard has frozen. Babe, what's wrong? But Richard can't speak. Can't move. Can only stare at his wife with another man. Amelia sees him too. Sees Tessa. Sees the truth written all over his guilty face. For 5 seconds, they stand there. 2 liars. 2 betrayers. 2 people who just lost the moral high ground forever. Then Amelia turns and walks away. Richard does the same. No confrontation. No scene. Just the silent shattering of every lie they told themselves. But here's what they don't know. At the exact moment they're discovering each other's affairs, their son is underwater. Leo reaches for the plane. His fingers brush it. He leans further. The tile is slippery. His foot slides. He falls. The splash is quiet. Surprisingly quiet. Just a soft sound that doesn't carry over music and wine-drunk laughter. He hits the water and sinks. Not like in movies. Not dramatically. Just down. His small body suspended in blue silence. His dinosaur pajamas filling with water. His lungs beginning to burn. And Clara, who promised Amelia she'd watch him, who promised Leo she'd keep him safe, who promised herself she wouldn't mess this up, doesn't notice. Not for 30 seconds. Not for 45. Not until Kevin says, "Did you hear something?" And Clara turns. And sees the ripples. And sees the small shape at the bottom of the deep end. And starts screaming. Clara dives in fully clothed. Pulls Leo's body from the water. He's not breathing. His lips are blue. She's screaming, sobbing, shaking him. Kevin calls 911 with trembling hands. There's a kid, he's not breathing, oh God, oh God. The ambulance takes 7 minutes to arrive. 7 minutes of Clara doing CPR she barely remembers from a class she took years ago. 7 minutes of Kevin pacing and crying. 7 minutes of Leo's small chest not rising. When the paramedics arrive, they take over. Professional. Efficient. Terrifying. They get a pulse. Weak. But there. They rush him to the hospital, sirens screaming. And at that exact moment, Richard's phone rings. Unknown number. He almost doesn't answer. But something makes him. Mr. Hartley? This is Mercy General Hospital. There's been an incident with your son. You need to come now. The world tilts. What kind of incident? Your son nearly drowned, sir. He's in critical condition. Richard drops his phone. Tessa catches his arm. What's wrong? But he can't answer. Because his promise just broke. Amelia gets the same call 2 minutes later. She screams. Ethan holds her while she falls apart. Then they're both driving. Separate cars. Separate lives. Same destination. Same nightmare. The hospital where, 3 years ago, they promised to protect their son. The hospital where they're about to learn what that promise really cost. Here's what I need you to think about while your heart is still racing. How long does it take to destroy a life? 5 days? 5 minutes? Or just 5 seconds of not paying attention? Because Clara's about to face charges. Richard and Amelia are about to face each other. And Leo's about to face a future his parents stole from him. Can guilt kill you? Not quickly. Not cleanly. But slowly, one breath at a time, until you're still walking around but everything inside you is already dead. That's the question Richard and Amelia are about to answer. Because when they walk through those hospital doors, they're not just facing their son's broken body. They're facing the truth about who they really are. And sometimes, the truth is worse than any punishment a court could give. Sometimes, the truth is something you have to live with forever. The question is, can they? Richard arrives first. He runs through the emergency room doors, wild-eyed, desperate. The receptionist directs him to the ICU. When he gets there, he sees them. His parents. His mother's face is streaked with tears. His father's jaw is clenched so tight it looks like it might shatter. Where is he? Richard gasps. His mother just stares at him. Then she asks the question that will haunt him forever. Where were you? Richard opens his mouth. Closes it. The lie he prepared dies on his tongue. I had a conference. Don't, his father says, voice like steel. Don't lie. Not now. Not about this. Richard's mother steps closer. We came to surprise Leo. We wanted to take him to the zoo. And we found him floating in your pool while some drunk girl cried on the deck. The words hit him like physical blows. Is he alive? His father says. Barely. That's when Amelia arrives. She's running, her heels clicking on linoleum, mascara smeared down her face. When she sees Richard, she stops. Their eyes meet. And in that moment, they both know. They both know the other was lying. They both know where this ends. Dr. Fred is tired. You can see it in the lines around his eyes. He's probably delivered this news before. But that doesn't make it easier. Your son suffered a hypoxic brain injury, he says, hands folded on his clipboard. That means his brain was deprived of oxygen for several minutes. We were able to stabilize him, but the damage is significant. What does that mean? Amelia whispers. It means Leo will survive. But he'll never be the same child he was before. He'll likely have severe cognitive impairments, motor function difficulties, and will require round-the-clock care for the rest of his life. The words land like grenades, one after another, destroying everything. Richard makes a sound. Not quite a sob. Not quite a scream. Something in between. Amelia just stares. Can we see him? She finally asks. Dr. Fred nods. He's sedated. But yes. Follow me. They walk down a hallway that feels infinite. And with every step, they're walking further from the people they used to be. Because you can't come back from this. You can't unknow what you've done. Leo looks so small in that hospital bed. Tubes everywhere. Machines beeping. His chest rising and falling, but there's no life behind it. Just mechanics. Just survival. Amelia breaks. Completely. She collapses beside his bed, sobbing so hard she can't breathe. I'm sorry, baby. I'm so sorry. Mama's here now. Mama's here. But he can't hear her. Richard stands frozen in the doorway. He can't move. Can't process. Can't accept that this small, broken thing is his son. The son he made dinosaur pancakes for. The son who asked him to come to a school play. The son he chose Tessa over. His father's voice comes from behind him. You did this. Richard turns. Dad, you and her. You did this. That girl, Clara, she'll face charges. But you're the ones who abandoned him. You're the ones who chose everything else over him. And now he's going to pay for it for the rest of his life. Richard wants to argue. Wants to defend himself. But he can't. Because his father is right. By the next morning, the story is everywhere. Power couples neglect nearly kills toddler. Nanny charged after wealthy parents' son drowns in pool. Where were they? The Leo Hartley tragedy. Someone leaked it. Probably a hospital worker. Maybe a neighbor. Doesn't matter. The damage is done. Richard's business partners call for emergency meetings. Amelia's charity foundation quietly removes her name from their website. Their friends stop answering calls. Because tragedy is only sympathetic when you're innocent. And Richard and Amelia, they're guilty. Not legally, but morally. And in the court of public opinion, that's worse. Clara is arrested. She appears in court, 24 years old and destroyed. Her lawyer argues she was put in an impossible position by negligent parents. The prosecution argues she was drunk and failed in her duty of care. Both are right. But only one of them goes to jail. Clara gets 18 months. Richard and Amelia get freedom. And somehow, that feels like the greater punishment. They try to stay together. For 3 weeks they try. But every time Richard looks at Amelia, he sees her with Ethan. Every time Amelia looks at Richard, she sees him with Tessa. And every time either of them looks at Leo, they see what their lies cost. So they stop looking at each other. Richard moves into a hotel. Then an apartment. He visits Leo twice a week. Reads to him even though Leo doesn't respond. Talks to him even though Leo's eyes just stare at nothing. "I'm sorry, buddy," he whispers one night, holding his son's limp hand. "I'm so sorry. I thought I was unhappy. I thought I deserved more. I didn't know that what I had was everything." But sorry doesn't fix broken brains. Sorry doesn't rewind time. Sorry is just a word people say when it's too late. Amelia visits every single day. She reads the same book they used to read in the garden. Does all the character voices. Waits for Leo to laugh. He never does. "Come back," she begs him. "Please, baby, come back to me." But Leo can't come back. Because the Leo they knew is gone. This is someone new. Someone they created through neglect. Clara gets out early for good behavior. Before she leaves town, she comes to the hospital. She needs to see Leo one last time. Amelia is there, reading. She looks up when Clara enters. For a moment, they just stare at each other. Two women who failed the same child. "I know you hate me," Clara says quietly. "I hate me too." Amelia shakes her head. "I don't hate you, Clara. I hate myself. I was supposed to watch him. That was my one job. And we were supposed to be his parents. That was our one job." Clara steps closer to Leo's bed. Touches his hand. "I'm sorry, little guy. I'm so sorry." Then she turns to Amelia. "I know what I did. But you need to know something too. You left him with me knowing I wasn't enough. You knew I was overwhelmed. You knew I was struggling. And you left anyway because it was convenient." The words should hurt. But they don't. Because Amelia already knows. "I know," she whispers. "I know." Clara nods. Then leaves. And Amelia sits there in the silence, holding her son's hand, finally understanding the full weight of what she's done. 6 months after the accident, Richard and Amelia meet at the house one last time. It's being sold. They need to clear out the personal items. They work in silence. Packing boxes. Wrapping memories. Avoiding eye contact. Until Amelia finds Leo's toy airplane. The one from the pool. The one he was reaching for when he fell. She holds it in her hands and breaks. Richard finds her sitting on the floor of Leo's empty room, clutching the plane, sobbing. He sits down beside her. Doesn't touch her. Just sits. "Do you think he knows we're sorry?" Richard finally asks. Amelia looks at him. Really looks at him. "I hope not. I hope he doesn't remember us at all. Because if he does, if somewhere in there he knows what we did, that's worse than anything." Richard nods. They sit together in their son's empty room. Not as husband and wife. Not even as friends. Just as two people who destroyed the thing they loved most. "What do we do now?" Richard asks. Amelia stands up. "We live with it. That's all we can do. We live with it every single day for the rest of our lives. The mansion is empty now. Furniture gone. Pictures removed. Pool drained. It looks like a skeleton. Something that used to be alive, but isn't anymore. Richard and Amelia leave in separate cars. Drive away in opposite directions. Behind them, in Leo's window, the toy airplane sits on the sill. The only thing left. The only witness. And in a facility across town, Leo lies in his bed. Eyes open but seeing nothing. Breathing but not living. The boy who loved dinosaurs and pancakes and his mama's stories. The boy who just wanted his parents to stay. He's still here. But the Leo they knew is gone. And the tragedy isn't that he died. The tragedy is that he lived. Because now he has to exist in the ruins of what his parents built. Now he has to survive the consequences of their choices. Forever. They say children are resilient. That they forgive. But Leo can't forgive them. Because he doesn't remember who they were. Maybe that's mercy. Or maybe that's the punishment they earned. Either way, it's forever. Richard and Amelia lost everything chasing happiness. And they found out too late that they already had it. They just didn't know how to see it. So here's my question for you, and I really want you to think about this. What are you chasing right now that might cost you everything you already have? Drop your answer in the comments. Share this story with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, love isn't a feeling. It's a choice. Make it every single day. Before it's too late.